Hi everyone, Kevin Eichhoff here today to talk about the soul's purpose, the body's purpose, and our purpose in this world. I'd like to try to make the analogy of when you come into this world to a car lot, the world being a giant car lot. And when you come into this world, you're given a car. You may get a sports car, you may get an SUV, you may get a Jeep, you may get a Tesla, you may get something super fancy. You may also get kind of a broken down clunker that needs fixing and repairing most of its whole entire time here. That's what we're given. The body is that car. The body is the vehicle. When you open the door and get into the car, you're not the car, are you? You're the driver of the car. That's basically what happens when the soul enters a body. The soul enters a body, and then you forget. You forget that you're the soul. You think you're the body. You think you're the car. And that's the problem. The problem is that you forget that you're the driver of a vehicle, and you think you are the vehicle. And then you spend your whole entire existence on this planet thinking you're the vehicle, and you're going to do all these kinds of things to please the vehicle. And that's not really any purpose at all of the soul. The soul has nothing to do with that car, that body. The soul's purpose here is for evolution. Evolution to a higher awareness, evolution to a higher purpose, evolution to move on and to join and connect with its creator, the supreme being, the highest one, the only one, the highest source in the universe. This is all through the love of the creator, for you to connect to that awareness and evolve. And what you do here in your body and what goes on here with the body and the mind may have nothing at all to do with the soul's evolution. You may think it does, but it does not have anything to do, lots of times, with the evolution of the soul. You're here to work out certain things, and a lot of times we have the same kinds of things coming again and again and again in our lives because we need to work out those things and move on. And those can be soul related, but not always. And it's very difficult to connect with that unless you're making a major attempt to connect with the soul. Some would call that self-awareness. And once you gain self-awareness, you can move to a divine awareness. But you have to first gain that self-awareness. And how do we gain self-awareness of the soul? We gain self-awareness by following the path of the saint. Following the path of guidance to connect to our higher being that lies within ourselves. It has nothing to do with our body. It has nothing to do with our minds. The soul is everlasting. It goes on forever. It doesn't die. It will move from body to body, from vehicle to vehicle. The moment you enter a vehicle and think you are that vehicle, you've lost sight of the soul connection. The way we can gain our connection back to the soul is through practices like meditation, yoga nidra, deep meditative and monk-like practices that you would do to try to make that connection happen to the deeper reaches of the soul, to the deeper reaches of that awareness. And to gain that awareness, you will come to the realization of knowing you are not the body or the mind. You're just here as a servant of the Father You're here as a servant to help humanity move forward and progress. And the more evolved you are, the more you'll realize that. Earth is a very heavy, dense, materialistic planet. Matter is dense here. It's very heavy and thick. And once you come into the thickness of this matter, you forget. It's easy to forget who you are. And it's set up that way here. Earth is a difficult planet. A lot of changes happen environmentally here. A lot of things happen here that are difficult for people. And then when you have pain and suffering, this pain and suffering is because you're doing something improper with the divine natural connection in life. Every time you do something against nature, against the normalcy of nature, you will experience pain and suffering. Life is short here. You only get 100 years at best. And you will have to keep coming back here again and again and again for the soul to evolve to that point that it can move from this planet elsewhere. And there's many, many planetary things in the universal spectrum. This isn't the only life. This isn't the only life form. You'd be kidding yourself to think that. God is immense, but yet at the same time, he is a particle within a particle within a particle. He is minute, the most minute you could ever know or experience. You think of a particle, an electron, and the particles inside that electron, and think of that particle as an entire universe and all kinds of things revolving around it, just like here. God is a particle within a particle. He is immense. He is everywhere, all the time, omnipresent, omnipowerful. You can connect with that source, your identification of the soul is part of that connection. And part of your whole goal in life here on earth is to make that connection. Not necessarily have fun and enjoyment with the body all the time. It's about making that connection. And you can make it as serious or as fun as you want, but sooner or later, you will have to make that soul connection and move on. And hopefully, in time, leave this planetary field and go to another spiritual field of a much higher nature and awareness, that where there's no longer this strong, dense control of matter. And matter here is so tight and compact, it's hard to know that you're anything else but the body. And so hopefully this gives you some insight into our soul, our soul's purpose, its evolutionary process, and what we do in life that moves us into that. And it's always humanitarian efforts. If you're not doing good humanitarian efforts to help your neighbor, to help others, to move them forward in life, then you're not really doing much work, because the ultimate work of the soul, and you can see it through people who have been here like saints, like Mother Teresa, people like this who have done tremendous humanitarian efforts. These are our soul's purpose here. It may be environmentally related or whatever, but if you are not doing those purposes, you're probably not connected to the soul at all. You're probably just connected to the body doing bodily things. And so the more you make that effort to move into that soul and do good things for people on an all-the-time basis, then you're just really connecting to the body. And the more desires you keep gaining, the more you're going to want, because that's how it works. It's a never-ending battle. Desires create desires. And the more you develop, the more you'll create. And so, work on soul-enriching and nourishing things in life that nourish the soul. And it's not always about what you're doing for you. It's about what you're doing for humanity, the universe, and the connection and the embellishment and the nourishment of the soul. And with that being said, I wish you all well. I hope you find self-awareness, divine awareness, light, and have a wonderful life ahead of you. Namaste, Jai Bhagwan. May you find your soul.